Under 3 hours north of Albuquerque in the center of Springer sits the Santa Fe Trail Museum. Maria, can you tell me the story that's being told in this museum? Is there a kind of a theme happening here?
Well, this building was originally started in 1879. That's about the time that Springer itself was established, which in the beginning we were called Maxwell. This was the courthouse. This would have been the Colfax County seat. Any court hearing, any trial would have been done right here in this room. This is where the judge would have sat. And his quarters would have been right behind. Later on, as Raton, New Mexico became more established, they wanted the court, the seat, to be moved there.
Okay.
So they actually came on horseback by gunpoint to get Springer to release the records. And we really didn't look kindly upon that, so we refused to let up the records. So they had to get a writ of mandamus, which was filed with the courts in 1899, ordering Springer to release the records and move the county seat to Raton, New Mexico. And then at that point, the building kind of served the purpose as one of the very first boys' reformatory schools.
Okay. So fast forward to now, what are some of the, I guess, the artifacts that kind of, that tell that story?
Well, I think if you talk to most people who visit the museum, the things that pop out the most are going to be the electric chair. It's the only electric chair ever used in the state of New Mexico. It was responsible for 8 to 9 executions, so that's probably the most predominant. The second one is the jail cells, because we have 2 jail cells, one on this floor, one on the bottom floor, that we've kind of left in their original form. So I think they just really like being able to walk in and see those.
It's interpretive. You're getting a visceral experience of what life was like in that time.
Exactly, and what we tell most people when they come in is that the bottom floor, all the items on the bottom floor are an interpretation of items that you would have found during the Santa Fe Trail. Upstairs is kind of like donated, benefacted items, things that have been given to the museum. Sometimes I'll call it a museum of tchotchkes of sorts, like just given things, yes.
Yeah, but sometimes those are the most interesting things because it makes it real, you know?
Exactly, and I think, you know, the other item, not a lot of people like to go up there, are the gallows. We have, you know, an official gallows. They were never used. We had one public hanging that was done here in Springer, but because the gallows were not complete, it was done outside. With the electric chair and the gallows, I think that we do have people that like to think that there's some hauntings or some things that are here. Yes.
And with the scary, you know, prison cells down there, you guys got a theme. I see
We definitely have a theme going on.
The legends of the Untamed West are wrangled into this one collection, and even some unrelated but intriguing items have found their way here. Look for relics from a giant upstairs. And the newly refurbished Broken Arrow Motel down the street makes for a great launch point to adventures along the Santa Fe Trail.